Hello and welcome back to Nerd Doc. With the Moon Knight Disney Plus series right around the corner, it's time to break down just who this Marvel character is and what you should expect from him in the MCU. While we will talk a bit about some of the changes from the comics to the series, there will not be any spoilers for the Moon Knight series beyond what's been shown in trailers and discussed in interviews. If you are looking for spoilers, those will be linked below starting on Wednesday. We have a lot of Moon Knight coverage planned, including character profiles on Khonshu and Arthur Harrow, as well as coverage of each episode as they release. You can find all of our Moon Knight videos linked in the description below. If you have any questions about Moon Knight, leave a comment and we'll try to answer them as best we can. Moon Knight is one of the more unique heroes in Marvel Comics and brings a lot of that uniqueness to the MCU. He has dissociative identity disorder, meaning he has multiple personalities. He is Marc Spector, a highly trained former mercenary, Stephen Grant, who is a millionaire in the comics but works at a museum gift shop in the Disney Plus series, and Jake Lockley, who is a cab driver in the comics and has not yet made an official appearance in the trailers for the Moon Knight show. While there are other personalities, those are the main three. Mark is there when it's time to fight, Stephen is like Moon Knight's version of Bruce Wayne, and Jake is able to get a lot of unique intel being a cab driver. Mark is also married to Marlene Alhalner in the comics, but this has been changed to Layla Al-Fawly for the MCU. They also live in England in the MCU as opposed to New York in the comics. You know who else is in England right now in the MCU? Blade and the Black Knight, which is probably not a coincidence, but we'll get to them and their Midnight Suns implications in another video. Beyond those facts, Mark remains mostly unchanged in the MCU, but Stephen is not a millionaire anymore. He also allows the viewers to more easily learn and understand the Moon Knight story. As Stephen learns about Moon Knight and his various personalities, so does the audience. Stephen is timid and shy, owns a goldfish, and basically just doesn't want to be insane. Depending on the comic you want to reference, Moon Knight is actually insane, or has been granted superhuman powers by the Egyptian god of the moon, Khonshu. If you're a believer, Mark was gunned down by Raoul Bushman and left for dead. He was placed below an idol of Khonshu, and the Egyptian god offered to save his life in exchange for Mark's services. Mark agreed and became Moon Knight, the avatar of Khonshu. In the comics, Mark is not the first person to be Moon Knight, as Khonshu has enlisted the help of many people throughout the ages. Mark is the only one who can see or hear Khonshu, so sometimes there's debate over whether or not Mark is actually talking to Khonshu, or if some conversations are only happening in his head without Khonshu being involved at all. In the comics, Moon Knight has some resistance to pain, and is basically immortal since Khonshu can bring him back to life as needed. However, he's still more along the lines of a normal human, just in peak physical condition, rather than being a superhero with superpowers. Depending on the reference comic, he also has additional strength based on the current phase of the moon. In the MCU, he has the ability to rapidly heal his wounds, as well as super strength when he's in his Moon Knight form. Mr. Knight is an identity Moon Knight uses to interface with the police in the comics. He basically serves as Moon Knight's representative to the authorities and is meant to be seen as a different person, separate from Moon Knight. In the MCU, this has changed a bit, as Mr. Knight is Stephen's Moon Knight transformation. When Mark transforms, you see the traditional Moon Knight suit. However, when Stephen transforms, it's Mr. Knight instead. They have a very similar power set, but obviously Mark has combat training and Stephen works at a gift shop, so how they utilize the suits is quite different. While Moon Knight is mainly a street-level hero, he has been a member of multiple Avengers teams in the comics. It wouldn't be surprising to see him become an Avenger in the MCU, but the Midnight Suns is a far more likely team-up for the character. With Daredevil entering the MCU in a big way, it's also not out of the question to see a Marvel Knights team at some point as well. We'll very likely take a closer look at the Midnight Suns in the coming weeks, as Moon Knight is rumored to hint at that team and a connection to other Marvel supernatural heroes and villains throughout the series. There have been rumors that Bushman will also show up in the series, and as one of Moon Knight's main enemies in the comics, it seems likely. However, for now, all we know is that the main antagonist of the series is Arthur Harrow. You can find a video on him linked below, but he's very different in the MCU compared to who he is in the comics, making him a formidable opponent for Moon Knight in the MCU. For now, that wraps up this video. Once again, if you have any questions on Moon Knight that we didn't already cover here, or you're just looking for more information, leave a comment below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves Marvel and Moon Knight.